Hello. Today we're going to be talking about SRPG Studio again, because there is a lot I would still like to cover. We're going to be focusing on maps today, and I'm going to be using the same game demo again to demonstrate. Here's the map for the first level. I have a lot of custom assets in here again, but fortunately, adding in your own tiles is just as easy as any other asset. Here in our trusty database, we can find all of the tiles that have currently been imported, as well as some information about them. These symbols represent different states of passable. A circle means that units can pass through it, while a triangle means that they can't. It's possible to set traits so that some tiles are traversable by all units, some by none, and some by units only with certain attributes. Usually, this will be for flying units and the like, but you can get pretty creative with it. This green fire tile that I've added can only be passed by units that have the undead trait, for example. Placing down tiles is very easy, though if you're working with a large map, I would recommend planning it out on paper first, because there doesn't seem to be any way to zoom out and see the whole map at once. Once you've made your map look pretty, you can start adding in things like events, which you might want to be triggered by interacting with particular locations. Please allow me to demonstrate. You'll need to make sure you're in event mode first, then select the tile that you would like the event to be attached to. There's a lot of different types of events you can use, and even more criteria that you can use to activate them. If it exists in the database, then there's probably a way for you to use it. This chest is a classic RPG staple, and we want the player characters to be able to open it. We can set this up with an event that looks a bit like this. This will add an item to the active player's inventory, and can only be used once. These tiles have a healing effect for players that end their turn while standing on the tile surface. It inflicts a positive status effect on the unit which will remain for a few turns even after they've moved. Status effects are very easy to add, as they are also made in the database, but they're very interesting, so I would be happy to talk more about them later if you like. And this is primarily a dialogue event that changes according to which character interacts with it. Its event looks like this. There's also a small experience bonus that I added too, because I was feeling generous. You can also set events on tiles that don't include an object, if it's something you don't want the player to necessarily see, because the orange markers used to set the events are invisible when viewed in the actual game. This can be useful for triggering something like enemy reinforcements, area effect spells, or story events. If you want to get really into depth with map-based events, there's a lasso-style tool in here too for selecting large portions of the map at once. This can be combined with enemy behaviors too for some interesting effects, but I'm afraid I'll have to cover that another day, as it's quite a big topic and I'm still figuring out a few of the details. Hopefully though this should give you enough to get most of a level made, as most of your narrative as well as your gameplay can be made using what we've covered here. I'm still doing a bit of experimenting with it all though, so if I can find something useful, I'll share it with you. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Catch you next time.